Alright, hi there, this is Max. I'm working on Fall 2012 Midterm 2, Question 3, which is asking us to cross out whole lines of the implementation below so that the doc tests for vehicle pass. In addition, cross out all lines that have no effect. Don't cross out doc strings, doc tests, or decorators. Okay, so we have some vehicle class. Let's look at the doc strings or the doc tests. So we have C is equal to car, John, CS61A. This is something that constructor that takes two arguments, including a self. And then it's got some drive method, which takes an argument here. It says John is driving. C.drive, Jack, car stolen, John, CS61A. Okay, so John looks like something like the owner. Jack is someone that isn't supposed to be driving it, so we have a car stolen. C.pop tire 3, C.pop tire 2. Okay, it looks like pop tire makes sense to be like some sort of instance method, right? Or instance attribute, I'm sorry. Alright, okay, so now we're done with our we're done with looking at the doc test. So now we have defined init, self owner, self.owner equals owner, move self, print self owner is driving. So this is a superclass vehicle. We don't have anything testing move, so this looks like it's probably correct. We don't have to do anything with it. Class car inherits from vehicle, so it's some subclass of vehicle. It's got 4 tires. Car.tires equals 4. So this we don't need to do because we're setting car.tires right here, right? So this is how we set class attributes. This is not how we set class attributes, so we can cross that out. We have some init, just taking a self owner and a license plate. So that's more than just what our normal vehicle takes. This makes sense. We want to pass in a license plate here. If we're going to do init, we have to do it with self, because vehicle is a class, and we're actually looking up the we're not passing in enough arguments if we just do vehicle.init owner, because the class vehicle expects a self as well, and vehicle is not the self that we're passing in, so that doesn't work. This makes sense, right? We want to set the owner. Vehicle does the owner setting for us, so we don't need to do anything else. Now here we have vehicle.init, self.owner. That makes sense. We're initializing the owner. Self.plate equals license plate. Okay, that's fine. We're having some instance attribute that's going to keep track of our license plate. Self.tires equals tires. Well, so if we want this to equal to car.tires, then we need to do this, right? Tires is a local variable here. We're going to get a name error if we try and do this. So car.tires is going to look up what our car's tires are. Okay. Define drive, self-person. If person does not equal self.owner, so only one of these lines can be the correct line, right? Because else we're going to get a syntax error. So, well, self.person, person is not an instance attribute here, right? So it doesn't make sense to, like, you know, try and look up an instance attribute for person. Really, person is just some local variable that we're passing in. So we should get rid of this line. And now we have this. That's fine. Print car stolen. Well, we definitely only want one of these lines to print, right? Because else it's going to print lots of lines, and our doc test here says here we only want to have one car stolen print. So let's check the obvious things. Okay, yeah, everything's capitalized correctly, so we're not going to miss any points for missing something silly. And now we're doing identification. Well, identification doesn't look like it makes any sense because here it's a property method, but we're not passing it in with anything, right? So it's a property method. We don't need this because we need to call it with self. If we're calling methods, if we're calling methods from within other methods, we need to use self. So neither of these make any sense. Since it's marked as property, we know that we don't need these open parentheses and close parentheses, so we don't need this either. Okay. Otherwise, we're going to do car.move. Car.move does print self.owner is driving. We're passing in self correctly. That looks like it's right. Self.owner is driving, which is what we want to do if we are allowed to drive. Okay. So property self. So this is a property method. That's fine. If we decided to cross this out, then we would want to do this, but we want to cross it as few lines as possible, so we're going to leave this property method as is. So we have some method identification. We've marked as property. It's going to return self.owner plus a space plus this plate. And that looks like what it's doing right here, right? John and CS61A. Right, so that looks fine. Pop tires. Yeah, it makes sense that we're decrementing self.tires and we're returning self.tires. That looks like what we're doing right here. Okay. Define fix self. We're setting some attribute car tires self.tires. This is a little strange. Set adder car tires to self.tires. That doesn't look right. This is fix. Fix is going to... Oh, interesting. Okay, so pop tire. We initially start with 4 tires, and then we're doing pop tire, so we're going down to 3. Pop tire going down to 2. Return self.tires. This is sort of interesting. I would have thought that this would go back to 4 after we had done... Oh, no. Okay, so it does go back to 4, and then we pop another tire. Okay, so this makes sense. So we're taking... We want something that's going to set our self.tires back to 4, so that we can, when we pop it again, we're going to get 3. I was a little confused because we're going from... It looks like we're going from 2 back to 3, but really we're going from 2 to 4, then back to 3. Okay. That makes sense. Okay, so set attribute, we want to set the attribute for self, right? We don't want to set an attribute for car because we're not trying to change the number of tires that all cars have. We're just trying to change the number of tires that our particular instance has. So we're going to do self. So we don't want to do anything that has anything to do with car. That makes sense. Set attribute self tires to self.tires. That doesn't do anything, right? Self.tires is going to be 2 if it's been popped. So this set attribute is going to take in what the object that we're setting the attribute for, the attribute that we're resetting, and then the value we want to set it to. So we don't want to do this. Set attribute self tires type self is going to evaluate to car.tires is going to be 4. This looks right. This type self is a little weird. It probably is something that we're using to throw you off. So this might be it. Let's look at the last option. Set attribute self tires self.car.tires. Self doesn't have an instance attribute car, and so we're not going to do this one right here, right? So the answer is going to be this right here. Set attribute self tires type self evaluates to car.tires is equal to 4. We want to reset the number of tires that our car has to 4 so that when we pop it again we get 3. Okay, so this looks right. Let me know if you have any questions on YouTube or on Piazza, and we'll try and get them cleared up. Thanks for watching.